They don't understand silence. They fear it, because in silence, truth whispers. Noise is their shield, their comfort, their distraction. But silence is the mirror, and mirrors don't lie. They fill the air with voices, with opinions, with empty laughter, just to drown out the sound of their own weakness. But I learned to live in it, to breathe in silence like oxygen, to let it wrap around me, pressing in from all sides, until I was no longer afraid of what I'd hear, but desperate for what I'd become. There's something sacred about solitude, the way it strips you, breaks you, rebuilds you. In the beginning, it's torture. You reach for anyone, anything, a voice, a hand, a reason, but nothing comes, just the echo of your own heartbeat, pounding like war drums in a world that has forgotten you. And then comes the stillness, the moment when you stop begging, stop explaining, stop breaking yourself into pieces to fit into places that were never meant for you. That's when it begins. Power doesn't arrive with lightning, it doesn't shout, it doesn't beg to be seen, it waits, it watches, it rises. They mistook my silence for surrender. They looked at my calm and thought it meant weakness. But calm is not the absence of chaos, it is the mastery of it. I didn't speak. Not because I had nothing to say, but because nothing they said mattered. You see, presence isn't about volume, it's about weight. And I carry storms in my bones now. I've walked through fire they can't imagine. Felt betrayal like knives pressed into my spine. I've buried dreams, buried people, buried the version of me who begged for approval, and from that grave I rose, not louder, not brighter, but heavier. Let them talk, let them laugh, let them think they've won, because I've become something they can't touch, a shadow that doesn't flinch. Silence that roars louder than their screams. They want noise, they want attention. Let them dance in the spotlight, because when the light dies, when the cheers fade, when the world goes quiet again, that's when I arrive. No grand entrance, no speeches, no need for permission, just a presence, just a pulse, just a silence that makes them shiver, because somewhere deep inside, they know. The storm has already begun, and I am the silence before it hits. They broke me, buried me, thought I wouldn't rise. They stood over my ruins like gods above a shattered temple, mocking what they destroyed. They thought the fire would finish me, but it didn't. It forged me. I wasn't just burned. I was reborn in the blaze they built to end me. But don't get it twisted. This isn't your pretty story of rising from the ashes with grace. This is the rage that comes after betrayal, the kind that scorches everything it touches. I didn't rise like a phoenix. I clawed my way up like something the gods themselves regretted cursing. They say betrayal only hurts if you care. And that's the part that eats at me. I cared. I gave. I trusted. And that's what they used as a weapon. Kindness turned against me. Loyalty exploited. Heart shattered until there was nothing left but glass and fury. So I bled and I broke. And I screamed into a silence that never answered. Back, you know what it feels like to watch people you die for dig your grave? I do. You know what it's like to be forgotten before your body even hits the floor? I do. They didn't just bury me. They danced on the dirt, toasting to the downfall of the one who would have burned for them. But I didn't stay dead. No. I made the earth tremble until the soil spat me out in fear. I made the fire kneel, because even the flames knew. I was never meant to stay in the ashes. Do you know why their betrayal hurt? Because for a moment, I believed the lie. I thought I needed them. I thought I needed anyone. But pain is a brutal teacher. And I learned to build walls out of bone to armor my soul in silence, to sharpen my grief into something beautiful, something deadly. I stopped mourning, stopped waiting, stopped asking why, and I started remembering who I am. I remembered that I don't need to be loved, I don't need to be understood, I don't need to be saved, because I am not the victim of their fire. I am the fire. I don't crawl anymore, I don't plead, I don't explain. Let them wonder how I survived. Let them whisper in fear, as if they didn't light the match themselves. They made me this. Every scar, every scream, every silent night with no answers. They built this monster, and now they get to live in the world it walks through. So let them fear. Let them watch in silence as the ashes stir. And the thing they tried to kill opens its eyes again, because I didn't just rise, I evolved. And what I've become, they can't bury, they can't break, they'll never understand, but they will remember. They ran from it, the silence, the darkness, the truth. They called it fear, I called it home. They built their lives on illusions, comfort, love, loyalty, thinking if they closed their eyes tight enough, the monsters wouldn't find them. But what happens when the thing you fear doesn't hide under the bed? What happens when it walks upright? When it speaks? When it stares back at you with the face you left behind in the mirror? I became that. I became the void they tried to escape. They created a monster to bury their guilt. And now they tremble because it breathes. But I didn't start out this way. I wasn't born with this hunger in my chest, this shadow wrapped around my spine. They planted it in me, every lie, every abandonment, every door slammed in my face. And when they left, I didn't disappear. I transformed, piece by piece, layer by layer. I stripped away the parts of me that begged to be loved. I pulled the light out of my chest and replaced it with cold calculation. I burned the innocence, buried the forgiveness, and what was left was something they can't name, something that doesn't flinch, something that doesn't forget. Do you know what it feels like to become the thing people pray never knocks at their door? Good, because that's what I became. They thought the void would consume me. They thought the emptiness would break me. But they were wrong. I became the emptiness. I studied the silence, learned its language, made it speak for me. I don't raise my voice. I don't need to. My presence carries what my words never have to. Let them smile. Let them play their little games. Because I've already seen the end. And I'm the silence that arrives when their world starts to crumble. They used to look through me. Now they can't look away. They used to pity me. Now they fear what I've become. Because I didn't just survive the fall. I thrived in it, while they clung to comfort. I made a throne out of pain, a kingdom from the pieces they left behind. I am not your hope. I am not your redemption. I am the echo in your chest when guilt knocks at midnight. The chill down your spine when truth slips through the cracks. I am the face they turned from, the voice they silenced, the reckoning they thought they escaped. But there's no running from what lives inside you and I live in every choice they regret. I am every apology they never gave, every scream they buried, every tear they caused. I am not a ghost. I am a memory sharpened into vengeance. They wanted a villain. They carved one out of me, and now I walk between their footsteps, quiet, unshakable, inevitable. I became the void they tried to escape, and now they drown in it. Let them hate. I don't need their love. I was never built for their affection. I was forged for war, molded by silence, hardened by betrayal. So let them whisper. Let them spit my name like poison. Let them twist my story into something monstrous. It changes nothing because I don't need to be liked. I need to be remembered, etched into the walls of their memory like a scar that never heals. Let them fear, because fear is truth. It's the only thing they can't fake. They smile for the crowd, they pray for peace. But behind closed doors, they tremble. They tremble when the silence grows loud, when the lights flicker, when their sins catch up in the dead of night. Because deep down, they know I'm still out here, still watching, still waiting. Not for forgiveness, not for redemption. No, I wait for justice, the kind that doesn't knock. The kind that doesn't flinch, the kind that strikes like lightning and leaves no one standing. Let them fall, because the pedestal they built with lies, I will crush it beneath my heel. Their kingdoms of comfort, built on my bones, their laughter echoes from the hollow space where my heart used to live. They thought they'd won, thought silence meant surrender. But silence, my friend, was simply the sound of me loading my wrath. And now I speak in storms. Now I walk in shadows they can't escape. Now I rise with the weight of every wrong they wrote in my name. Let them hate, let them fear, let them fall. Because I've made peace with who I am. I don't chase light. I don't beg for a seat at their table. I build my own throne from the wreckage. I am not lost. I am not broken. I am unleashed. And I don't just walk into rooms anymore. I shift the atmosphere. They don't hear me coming, but they feel me. A presence. Pressure, a storm hiding behind a calm stare. I don't have to scream to be known. I don't have to fight to dominate. My existence is a warning, a prophecy. I became what they fear when the mask slips, when karma puts on boots, when every "I'm fine" finally explodes into thunder. Let them lie about me, let them call me heartless. Let them label me cold, because what they fear isn't my wrath. It's the mirror I hold up to their own. I don't need their stories. I write my own. And it starts with fire and ends with silence. The kind of silence that speaks louder than 1,000 screams. Let them burn. Let them beg. Let them remember the moment they chose my wrath over my loyalty. Let them relive that choice over and over until regret is the only language they speak, because I gave them chances, mercy, warnings, and now I give them nothing. Let them hate, let them fear, let them fall, not because I'm cruel, but because I'm done waiting, done explaining. Done shrinking for the comfort of those who built their peace from my destruction. I am the reckoning, I am the consequence, I am the quiet that comes after everything burns. So let them hate, let them fear, let them fall. And when the dust clears, they'll... No, they didn't just make an enemy, they made a legend. You hear that? Exactly. Silence. Not fear, not chaos. Something worse. Reverence. Even gods hold their breath when I walk. Because I am no longer bound by the rules they wrote in stone. I shattered them. I bled on every commandment. I made a throne out of broken halos and wore damnation like a crown. They told me I was cursed. No, I was chosen. Not by fate, not by heaven, not by prophecy, by pain. Pain chose me. It took everything from me, then handed me the blade, and I didn't run from it. I took it, drove it through my own heart, felt every betrayal, every scream I never released. Every tear I had to swallow just to survive. And when I pulled it out, I wasn't human anymore. I was something else. Something they fear. Something they can't understand. Because I stopped searching for light, I became the storm that devours it. Let them kneel to false gods. Let them pray to deities who never answer. I don't pray. I don't kneel. I don't beg. I command. Because I walked through fire, they couldn't even survive in their dreams. Because I've died 1,000 quiet deaths. And each time I came back colder, sharper, stronger. They thought I would break. They thought I would beg, but I became inevitable. I am not the hero of this tale. I am not your savior. I am not the light at the end of the tunnel. I am the darkness that taught the light how to shine. And now even gods hold their breath because they see me. They see what I've become. A force without chains, a soul without shame, a wrath too precise to be chaos. I don't scream, I don't plead, I exist, and the world trembles. Let them build armies, let them chant in temples, let them offer sacrifices to ancient names. None of them are ready for what I bring, because I am not vengeance. I am the silence that comes after vengeance. I am the balance, the line they should have never crossed. Every word spoken against me, fuel, every doubt cast on my name. Weight I've carried to sharpen my edge. I let them laugh, I let them mock, but laughter fades. And I endure. I rise like winter, slow, cold, unstoppable. Now they watch from towers they thought were eternal. Now they whisper prayers behind stained glass and wonder, what have we awakened? Tell them, you awakened everything you buried. You tried to kill the storm, but only taught it how to wait. Now it's here, and when I move, I don't walk. I shift the ground beneath me. I bend time with every breath. I fracture reality with every step, because I'm not chasing thrones anymore. I become them. Let them write their scriptures. Let them cry out to heaven. Heaven doesn't answer when gods bleed. And I've bled enough to make the divine weep. So the next time they speak my name, make sure they whisper. Make sure they tremble. Because I didn't come to be remembered. I came to be feared. And now even gods hold their breath. Let them hate. Let them fear. Let them fall. They whispered lies in the shadows, hoping I'd break in the silence. But silence is where I sharpen my edge. I didn't respond with noise, I responded with presence. And now they'll hear that silence louder than thunder. Because I'm done explaining, done justifying, done bleeding for the comfort of cowards. Let them talk. Let them plot. Let them gather in rooms full of trembling men and say he won't come, he won't rise, he won't win. Say it. Say it again. Say it until your throat cracks and your voice turns to ash. Because when I move, words mean nothing. I don't bring speeches. I bring consequences. Let them remember every smirk, every slight, every time they mistook my patience for weakness. That was mercy. This is the reckoning. They built walls. Good. I'll use them to echo the sound of their fall. They lit torches. Good. I'll watch their hope burn out with them. They wanted a villain. I became the monster their nightmares. Fear. Let them hate. Let them fear. Let them fall. Because this is no longer about revenge. This is about balance, and balance demands blood. Every eye that looked down on me, look up now. Every hand that tried to push me down, tremble now. You thought I wouldn't rise? You forgot. The most dangerous ones aren't the loudest. They're the ones who learn to wait, to sharpen, to become something more than rage. I am more than rage now. I am the storm behind the silence, the pressure before the break, the force you cannot see, but always feel. So let them curse me. Let them paint me a villain. Let them pray to their gods and hope I don't come. But when I arrive, there will be no speeches, no banners, no mercy, only one truth left to echo through what remains. Let them hate, let them fear, let them fall. No need to announce the storm. It doesn't ask for attention, it commands it. One breath, and skies tremble. One step, and the ground fractures. Because I am not here to knock. I am the shatter that follows silence. The pressure that makes the air feel heavy before anything even begins. They never saw it coming. Too busy laughing, too busy underestimating, too blind, too proud to notice the sky darken above them. I gave them every chance, warned them with quiet, taught them with absence, offered them a path that didn't end in ruin, but they chose war, so I became it. I am not a scream, I am not noise, I am the whisper before the lightning, the stillness before skies fracture, the breath before everything breaks. They wanted a villain, they called me one. So I rose, not as a man, but as the storm they never thought could rise from ashes. I don't strike to prove a point, I strike to erase doubt, because when I arrive, there's no confusion, only aftermath. Let them hide behind walls, let them run to their safe places. The storm reaches everywhere. Their shadows, I walk through them, their names, already forgotten. This isn't revenge, this is reckoning, because storms don't come back. For justice, they come to cleanse, and when it's over, there's no need for explanation, no need for stories, only silence, ash, and the memory of a force they thought would never rise. I am not the thunder they heard in the distance. I am the lightning that strikes before they even look up. Let them remember the calm. Let them worship the past, because from this moment forward, I am everything they fear when the sky turns black. No warnings, no mercy. I arrive, and they pray to survive me. I am not wind, I am not rain. I am the storm they never saw coming. They thought power was loud, that it had to shout, that it had to bleed for applause. But I learned the truth. Real power doesn't beg. It doesn't explain. It doesn't scream to be heard. It breathes, and everything around it listens. They will fear your presence without you uttering a word, because true power doesn't arrive with chaos. It arrives with certainty. The kind that silences rooms. That makes even liars forget their words. That turns enemies into statues, paralyzed by presence alone. I used to believe I had to speak, to convince, to prove. But now I know. My silence is the loudest thing in the room. I've become the presence they hoped would never return. The shadow they can't escape. The weight they feel in their chest when they realize I don't need to move to be unstoppable. I don't need to raise my voice to bring them to their knees. The air shifts when I arrive. Their instincts betray them. Their pride folds, because I have nothing left to prove, nothing left to lose, and everything to become. Let them wonder what I'll do. Let them pray for answers. Let them drown in the silence I leave behind. That silence is power. That stillness is legacy. That pause before I even speak is louder than anything they've ever known. They will tell stories, build myths, whisper warnings in dark corners. But I won't need to say a word. I already am the message. They will. Fear your presence without you uttering a word. Because when the storm ends, when the ashes settle, and the world dares to look up again, they'll find one truth carved into the silence. I didn't rise to be seen. I didn't rise to be heard. I rose to be felt. And now, they feel me in every heartbeat, In every breath they take that isn't free, let the silence stretch. Let the fear speak for me. I am not a voice anymore. I am the reason they no longer need